Hello again. Since we're all here at this moment, I would just like to take a few minutes to thank our supporters for this event. I would like to thank the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry. You can applaud. It's okay to do that. Pyramedia, who are our official knowledge partner for the event. And Be Connected International, our wellness partner. Thank you very much. We now have a panel discussion titled Cleverly Connected. On the panel is Dr. Nashwa Al Ruwaini, CEO and board member of Pyramedia Media Consultancy and Production, who spoke to us earlier today. Please welcome Dr. Nashwa Al Ruwaini on stage. Also on the panel is Mr. Abdullatif Sayegh, founder of Sayegh Media. Mr. Abdullatif is one of the most successful Emirati entrepreneurs. Welcome on stage. He's one of the most successful Emirati entrepreneurs in the marketing and communications industry. Before establishing Sayegh Media, Mr. Abdullatif headed the Arab Media Group, and he brought to the UAE famous TV channels like Nickelodeon and MTV. The moderator of the panel discussion today is Ms. Sawsan Saad, TV presenter, Dubai Sports TV, official announcer at the Hazza bin Zayed Stadium, professional actress, brand ambassador, and social media influencer, and you can see her in cinemas across the UAE this weekend, and the GCC this weekend, in the Emirati feature film Hajwala, right? Right? Please put your hands together for Ms. Sawsan. Thank you.
Okay. Before we start, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to put my phone on silent. And I hope from all of you to do the same. I know our topic today is about technology, but let us hear and listen. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of Allah, the compassionate, the merciful. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you all again in the key session of the National Treasure to Inspire conference, and I hope the next National Treasure talk to have an Arabic sessions as well as English for non-English speakers, sorry. I'm honored today as Sawsan Saad to be the panel controller for this event. For those who doesn't know me, they call me Midyesta. We have fashionista nowadays, so why not? And I'm so honored to be sitting next to a people who inspires a lot of us and achieve the impossible, that I say. So our topic is cleverly connected. It's a huge topic, but we will start from the beginning. Social media is changing the way we communicate and the way we are perceived, both positively and negatively. Every time you post a photo or update your status, you are contributing on your own digital footprint and personal brand, so make sure your digital footprint is great. My first questions will be, we will start from the beginning because in each and every success story, there is a real story behind it. What was the key success stories that shaped the media in your personality and made you cleverly connected? My questions for both of you. We will start with you, Dr. Nashwa.
They usually say women first.
Absolutely, I can.
تفضل.
Ladies always first, so we'll start with Dr. Nashwa.
I think I'll just throw a few words, but definitely the floor is hers. I'm very honored to be here. Thank you so much for having us, and I hope everyone benefits from the discussion today. But definitely someone pioneer as Ms. Nashwa would lead the floor.
Bless. Thank you. I am honored to be here with you on this panel. I've known my dear friend for a long time. I'm not going to count the years. And we've been together through the good and bad, and we've seen lots of changes in the media. He is one of the key factors in changing the media face in the UAE, and I'm certainly honored to be with him on this panel. And thank you, our Medianista, for moderating today. I don't like to put ourselves in a frame saying we succeeded in this or we succeeded in that. I like to say that we have achieved milestones that were necessary to the advancement of media in our part of the world. I remember when I started being a TV presenter at the age of 16, and the whole world was against my father for allowing me to be on the screen at such a tender age. And the concept of being a young girl at the time in the media, horrible media world, was unheard of. We want her to be a doctor or an engineer, or what are you doing to your daughter? How could you do this? And my father simply said, I see my daughter as the next Barbara Walters. He had a thing for Barbara Walters. And, he had a dream, he had a vision, he believed in me, and I took the lead. But without his support, I wouldn't have been in the media, I wouldn't have tried my luck in the media, and it became as like a second skin to my nature after that. So the first milestone was getting into the media. I don't think it's very difficult for a man to enter the world of media. Maybe, especially, they have difficulties, especially if they come from a background of a family that does trade, for instance. The father wants his son to be a tradesperson like him, or he wants him to be, the second in line. And when he comes and says, I want media, it's like, huh? And they used to say at the time that a journalist or a media personality is for those who couldn't do it anywhere else. So it was a job for the jobless, or a job for those who did not have any aspirations. So we had another milestone of breaking this mold and proving that we are the movers and shakers of the public opinion. As I said earlier in my speech, it was one-dimensional media at the time when we started. We were given clear instructions of what to say and when to say it. So another milestone was breaking the rules in our own terms and introducing things that were unheard of before. When I started the social programming on Arabic television, each guest that I had on the show would say, I know of someone who did this, or I know of someone who encountered that, or I know of someone who said the story, but never I did this, or my brother did this, or I am encountering this problem. Everyone referred to a third party, not to ourselves. So we had another milestone when we had people coming on the screen talking about themselves and being an active participant in whatever problems that we had. So we managed to change rules, actual rules and laws in the Arab world based on that. So this was another milestone. And after that, we started getting the international formats. It was, we can do like the Americans, or we can do like the Europeans, copy and paste. But we did it with a twist, which is our milestone. Because not every format is relevant to the Arab world. And not exactly. So we needed to study the cultural sensitivity as well. And this is why programs like Kalam Nawa'am or The View made it, because it was relevant. We twisted it to our culture. That's why Who Wants to Be a Millionaire made it, because we got all the type of questions that people were really eager to hear. And then after that, it was a new age, a new era. where the digital media was introduced, how would we integrate that into the traditional media? How would we, it will not only be a tool to spread rumors and say jokes all the time. Actually, it can be very effective. And how can we put the digital media and the traditional media together to reach success? And you can see that. I mean, I'm going to give the example of The Millions Poet, for instance. One of the most successful seasons was the last season, because we heavily interacted on social media when the show was on air, and it worked like magic. NBC led the way for that, and they are now really strong on social media with whatever current programming they have. They create hashtags that no one would think of, yet they stir up the market and the audience. It's great. It's how to utilize social media as opposed to waiting for a miracle to happen and people starting to watch TV again, which is not going to happen in the near future unless there is a really good engagement. So the milestones, one after another, is what creates the career of the distinguished ones, or the people that have put a mark. So I hope that the likes of Abdullatif and myself would be the kind of people who set milestones, because this is really how we can make a difference in media.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And what about the key success stories behind you, Mr. Abdullah?
Well, I would say, success is a journey. And probably, as Ms. Nashwa said here, yes, probably the everyday journey, the everyday challenges, the passion, what made us really go through this entire corridor of making things happen. But I would also say we always have to fight a perception before we get into that career process. So I know for anyone would say, you know what, I want to become a TV presenter, and then that's my main challenge. In our cases, no. We have a cultural challenge before we get into that stage. So similarly here, I know for a lady, to be on TV, and definitely it was amazing to get the support of a father. But same thing here, an Emirati family sending their son to the US to come back and study in the media field? Are you kidding? So it's definitely a perception. They've seen a lot of other kids going and studying engineering and business. So many other different, very familiar fields. So it was a struggle. But then once we started the journey and they started seeing success, and the success wasn't easy. It wasn't like come and take it and celebrate next day. We went through a lot of ups and downs, a lot of sleepless nights. But then always there was this drive that made us go. And I think this is what differentiates any person from another. In life, we have drivers and we have passengers. And nothing is wrong. We should have both. We need them. But then always, if you want to become a successful driver, you should always know you're going to have obstacles. You're going to have people coming on your way. You're going to have you're going to hear a lot of no's, probably 9 no's compared to 1 yes. But then how every no you hear in life makes you stronger and makes you want to give more and become more successful. I'll share one last point here. I served the government sector and I worked in a lot of traditional media platforms, from radio to TV, newspaper, outdoor events. But then one day I've decided to move into the private sector and start doing my own thing. And it wasn't an easy decision. Once you start getting into the private sector, this is where now a new baby is born. And that baby cries, shouts, screams, wakes you up in the middle of the night, makes your life like hell. And trust me, it's a baby that you need to take care of, and to start seeing that baby eating well and walking well. And you don't want anyone to hurt that baby. And then the baby starts hopefully running one day, and then you come and you say, well, that baby would ever get a ticket to move outside the border, or will get stuck inside those boundaries? So a lot of questions comes into your mind, but definitely it's not an easy decision. But once you make it happen, then you realize that, you know what, so many other people can do the same, and hopefully we are here to inspire you and to get you on that track.
Thank you. And back to your speech, both of you. Sha'ar Milyon that Pyramedia produced was 100% Arabic original content and shaped Also, lots of projects like the Emirates Today newspapers and so many projects for both of you. So my question is, can Arabic original content have this big impact on the UAE media and how it can affect the culture too?
I always say that media is a mirror. It should reflect you. If it doesn't reflect you, then it's not you, then it's not media, it's not the right media. I do not want to look at myself and see a blonde girl with blue eyes. That's not me.
So the right media should reflect
Exactly.
me.
And this is why something like The Millionth Poet or The Prince of Poets made a huge impact, because it's an idea originating from the heart of Arabia. And it's utilizing the traditions that we have lived all our lives learning and being raised on. We were always the people of the word, and we used the word into a TV format. I remember when Mr. Muhammad Khalaf al-Mazrou'i, God rest his soul, he said, we want to do a great poetry show the first time we met. And I said, poetry show, we're not the company to do that. I mean, the perception of a poetry show is two people talking to each other and then someone says, Sah lisanak, and that's it. And I'm not interested. This is not the kind of show that I would be doing. He said, what if I told you, think out of the box and I want something big? So I said, I create a format. He said, create a format. And we did. And when we went and presented, I remember the first panel of jurors that, or the think tanks in Abu Dhabi Culture and Heritage Authority heard the presentation. When I finished, they just looked at me and I said, oh, they didn't like it. And then they said, and then one of them said, this is exactly what we were looking for. And I'm like, and it was, I said, it's going to be as big as Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. It's going to be as hip as Pop Idol. And it's going to have technology like the biggest US blockbusters. And we started, talking about the format. When we went to the advertisers in the advertisement world, they all said, we're not interested.
Wow.
They all said, no, poetry, camels, come on, Nashwa. Where are the singers? I said, no singers. They said, okay, where are the dancers? I said, no dancers. I said, the whole show is about people saying, bleh, 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 bleh. I said, yeah, bleh, 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 bleh. And they would not spend a dime. It wasn't for the support of His Royal Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed that wouldn't have seen the light, because people were simply not interested in going out of the comfort zone of the traditional programming that they are used to. But when it came on the screen and became a hit, we started getting the advertisers that gave us, their backs. And it worked. But it took guts, and it took someone who believed in whatever you're presenting to support you so you can break the mold. Otherwise, you wouldn't have seen anything on the screen ever.
Each journey has a supporter.
Exactly. And as Abdullatif said, we had so many no's that we feel so blessed when we get the yes, because the no's are, the common factor. And not only that, the IP in our part of the world is non-existent. So you would go to the most prestigious media company or broadcaster and you would give an idea and you call it X, and a few months later they do it as a Y program and said, oh, it's mental telepathy. And when you talk to them, said, it's not called X, it's called Y. Wow. So we are in continuous, up to this day, should we hold on to our ideas or should we go and present? Who do we talk to and who do we not talk to? Does it really matter if you have the intellectual property of an idea, or it does not matter at all? And this is an ongoing thing that we are living to this date and we're suffering from. maybe because we are presenting, no one would dare to take the idea, for instance, of Arabs Got Talent or America's Got Talent and copy it, and because there is an international intellectual property. But we've seen spin-offs of The Millions Poet in more than one channel. And you talk to them and you raise hell, and then what? Of course they flopped, that's not the point. But they've done it. Actually, I had a phone call from one of the creators of one of the famous shows in poetry saying, how did you calculate the final winner? Can you please tell us?
So give me
I say, excuse me? You have the cheek, wallah. We are, the idea of creating programming from our culture and our heritage and from our land is what we live on at the moment. But we still have to struggle with the IP in our part of the world.
And my question for you, Mr. Abdullatif, how has changing technology affecting the content creation and the media industry in large?
Big time. Everything, and I'm sure, for the young generation, they are very, very aware. Whatever is happening right now is based on disruption. Look at Uber. What is Uber? How many of you use Uber here?
I use it sometimes when I don't have car and my car.
Almost everyone. What is it? It's an app.
Yeah.
It's an app. Who uses Airbnb?
Yeah.
Like how many people use, Again, it's an app. So technology is going to lead.
Yeah.
Technology is the next business format, whether we like it or not. It is a transformation of life. And unfortunately, as a human being, we like to fight. You know why we like to fight? Because it takes us outside our comfort zone. And we don't like to be outside our comfort zone. This is where we get lost. This is where we come to things that we don't know, we don't understand. I mean, how many people here, they know how to code? Coding? Very few people, right? Probably 10 years from now, if you don't know how to code, you are someone who probably would not easily find a job. So coding is the next literacy in life, and this is where schools right now, it became part of the curriculum. So technology, going back to your question, everything is going to be technology driven. Look at what's happening at the media landscape. How many newspapers died over the past 10 years? How many TV stations now, they're suffering, and they don't know. Of course, there are some which are government supported, and they're always going to make it, I would say, for the next 5 to 10 years unless something happens. But a lot of TV stations, they started changing their format, finding different avenues so they can survive. Radio station, what's going to happen once you have a free Wi-Fi? And it's happening in a lot of cities around the world. People who are coming from, let's say, any city around the world, they are used to their format and their favorite radio station and RJ. They would listen to that one as long as they are connected in their car. So a lot of local radio stations will lose the power of existence, because what used to happen 5 years ago, you are so powerful because you have the power of license. I have that radio station license, or I have that newspaper license, That's exclusivity. This is where I go and I make my money. Does it matter anymore when you go online?
No.
No, that's it. Now your competition is universal. Now you are competing with someone who's sitting in New York and probably can do the same job as someone who's living here. So if we are not equipped, and this takes us back to our education system, how educated we are and how advanced is the education system is, and how we are prepared to go and compete. And I've had an argument, a very funny argument, with a colleague of mine a couple of weeks back. He came and he said, you know what? We are here in the UAE, and he was referring to his own company. He said, I have some of the best talents in the world. I said, you don't. He said, trust me, I do. I said, why don't you run an exercise? He said, what? I said, make all the people you have in your organization tomorrow to apply to a similar company in New York or London. If 5 of them got a job out of 50, you win the bet. And I know they're not going to win it. And I know in terms of being very competitive, We haven't reached there because the ecosystem and the need and the desire and the fight inside us, it hasn't gone to that level yet.
Yes.
We are not there. Look at the football players. Why we don't have football players from this region making it to the big, football club? Why not? Yeah, we are also human. We know how to play. The government gave us amazing facilities. Everything is there. Let's go and make it happen. But that will and desire within each one. I mean, let's look at cricket. I see a lot of people from India here. Why don't we have people from here, making it to the Indian team, and they make it to the universe, and they make it, to the world, and they run the World Series? It's just that we don't have enough. And I would say one part of it, and allow me to say this, we are a little bit spoiled. Nothing would happen. We will not become homeless. We still have daddy and mommy and, brother and sister who would take care of us. And as long as that exists, that deep fire is not going to be strong enough to take us very, very far.
Back to your speech, how we can make the balance between not the technology taking on our lives, how we can make the balance between social media and being us as a human being.
I mean, we should not allow it. It's technology at the end of the day, as Mr. Nashwa said here. It is a mirror. I mean, today, and this is probably something, as a number I have thrown yesterday with some of my colleagues who's here as well at an event. 2010, we've had less than 1 billion people on social media. By the year 2018, it's going to be 2.5 billion. So the entire universe very soon is going to be connected and it's going to be social. So socially or virtually is an exact reality of who we are and what we are. So to answer your question, I would say let's be human wherever we are. If we are virtual or if we are living, our normal actual life, that's human touch it not. And I would say, even do it more, because now you can spread that humanity. You can take it to the rest of the world as well. You can inspire others. So it's exactly how we can use these tools, and we have the power of choice and filtration to decide who we want to follow and who we want to follow us, and who we want to listen to and who we don't want to listen. So it's the power that we all have to make that ultimate decision.
But the presenter in me is, I have to ask you a question. Now, the millennials are all using social media, and they check their mobiles every 10 minutes, and over half of the population of the whole world has smartphones now.
Okay.
And we're bombarded with information that is not necessarily knowledge.
That's right.
The media before was one-dimensional, where we perceived whatever we're being given. Yeah. Now it's interactive. How would you tell your teenage son or daughter what's right, what's wrong, what to interact with, what not? Is 9gag good or bad? Is being all the time on Skype and WhatsApp good or bad? The kind of people that ask for friendship on the video games, are they good or bad? And explaining this to a rebellious teenager or someone who wants to make his own decisions. Sure. How?
Okay, I'll give you that answer in a very simple term. Again, I'll go back because I remember a story I read about one of the prime ministers, in India. He went to visit to schools, and then they came to him and they said, Your Excellency, we have a problem. He said, what is the problem? He said, a lot of our kids, they speak English better than Hindi.
Hindu, yeah.
So what do we do about it, And we've been trying, and it seems like they're obsessed and they are online and, they love to speak the language. He said, do two things. Take care of teachers and take care of mothers, and then they'll be fine. So again, going back, we cannot stop them from being exposed. Technology is there. Right now, being online is considered part of your education. I mean, everything we do, look at it, from the minute we wake up till we go to bed. If you stop them, then you're stopping that knowledge, which you cannot do. You filter, the entire filtration should sit here. A lot of examples here, look at us. We are all raised in such a way. Tomorrow we might go and get a scholarship, and seeing a lot of students here. Some of the students probably from day one, they might go and say, hey, where is the next club? This is a time. Mother is not here, daddy's not here, so probably let's go and jam. And there are students who would say, you know what, no, that discipline is deep inside. I am here on a mission. And I have to basically go back making everyone proud. So it's a lot of it the way we are raised. And now we need to even emphasize further on that, you know. We cannot stop it. And we should not try, because it's going to be a lot of time that we're going to waste. Last night I had a dinner with a couple of colleagues. It was very funny, something very similar. He said, you know what? I stopped my kids from going and watching YouTube, and I erased the entire app. And then I came, and he has, because everything is in his account, he came and he said, I went to search history, and one of the search says, how can I watch this content without YouTube? You can't stop kids. Don't try. I said, what are you doing is wrong. Don't. Mm-hmm. He said, I don't know how, you know, they break into these apps. And I said, they'll break into your account and change your password if they want. Yeah. Don't even go against them. So it's again, you know, it's encourage them, make them really, you know, super smart in the use of technology, but then these values needs to be embraced by us, by a lot of parents.
Yeah, this is why chapeau to the UAE for introducing the subject matter of ethics at schools.
Very true.
It will make a huge difference.
Very true. This is something that is going to have an amazing effect on the upcoming generations.
Unfortunately, our session is done, and I'm sad that it's done. But thank you very much for both of you to inspire us, and such enlightening session you did with us today. And thank you for the organizers and the partners of National Treasure. And at the end, social media is not just an activity, it is an investment of valuable time and resource. Surround yourself always with people who will not just support you and stay with you, but inform your thinking about ways to wow your online presence. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.